Yeah, I hate it when you're here but you're not here. Hate it when you're friends from the old peers. Hate it when you talk but you don't hear. Hate it when your energy feels weird. Last time I think I laughed, it was last year. Made more money last month than the past year. When everything feels fake, only facts here. I remember working back as a cashier. Simple at times I would spend 3 weeks till the page is empty. They hang on every word I fucking say. Well, I appreciate you, wait for my perspective. Gotta keep it real, there's something else in play. Something I can't explain, yeah. Like the lyrics I find in my mind will put in my brain, damn. Is it really that deep? Maybe it's me. Then one day I came across what the Romans believed, and even the Greek. You see, they believe we create from our genes. That got me to think about rappers who claim that they're more than just human. Promote what they pour in their drink, what's making me think I needed a substance to create with something that wasn't in me. But pardon me, please, fuck all that nonsense. I believe that my music is bigger than me, if I'm being honest. And I think that it's slave for an artist to claim they're a god or a goddess, because that type of thinking is silently killing off all of our artists. All the industry profit filling their wallets. Damn. Feel like I'm on a hamster wheel. While I focus on making the music, you don't need your hands to feel. Is it fair when we follow our passion, we barely can land a meal? In an industry where they can take, they don't need hands to steal. They told me go get a degree. We're stupid for following dreams. Your job is to push me to think and say you just heard in the sheet. I spill out my soul in the eat. I told them I need to pursue what I love. If not, then I'm making this money for what? By shit from a brain, like by someone that does. I needed to find out who I really was now. They would never get it. Said I couldn't do it, so they were sure when I did it. They never could see the vision, they never wanted me winning. I never needed opinion, I never was one to fit it. Too fast to follow along, then I bring it back in a minute. I take the beat for a trip and I bring it back when I'm finished. I see my room as a womb and I better grow while I'm in it. I'm living, but am I living? I can't even tell the difference. Since the last 4 lines, it's been about 1 week. Anxiety hit me real hard and I think I've been sacrificing my own mental to prove the potential in me with the music they see. Cause the more that I'm making, the more that they need. The more that I'm open, the more that I bleed. The more that they're lying, the less I believe. The more that I please them, the less that I'm me. I've been back and forth daily. Am I even making art? Did the art make me? No wonder why I'm feeling lost lately. Do they hate the art? Do they really hate me? They're so negative on the daily. But I don't need your help, to me I'm twice as mean. Yeah, I'm twice as mean. It's seeming like your dream is really only taking shots at my self-esteem. Motherfucker, you question why you should care. Like this don't affect what I do. But maybe, just maybe, if you change your thinking, then you will find you start believing in you. You see, as a human, you're made to create, not just sit at a desk with some paper and glue. And maybe, just maybe, we do have a genius, so all of the blame and the praise is for two. Damn. So who am I when the world tells me who I should be? Look around, you'll see ideas are essential as air and sleep. Everything you see, it came from the mind of a human being. That's mind-blowing. You're not your mistakes and the fears you think. And I think I need to pray and take care of myself more. Deep hidden in my mind's where you'll find peace of mind. For
Hello, check, check. Is it working? Hello?
Hello?
Excellent. Awesome. Hello. How you doing? Long time no speaky. I'm doing pretty fantastic. Past couple of days have been a rush. I've been going places, seeing people, many sessions in between. So I'm doing okay. All right. I was sick for a little bit. But after the sickness, I had to catch up with all of the new people who are in the groups, and I just didn't have any time to stream. Just unfortunate. But it's starting to get more manageable. All right, this weekend, or this week in general, I do have about 3 to 4 sessions a day. One day has 5 sessions. That's gonna be a tough day. But I've taken one-on-ones off of the list. Okay, for right now, just so that way the people coming in, I can focus on them. But in the future, I have not quite made the decision just yet, but I might be transitioning to more of a Crypto Chris type style, where I do have the videos giving you an introduction on a basic winning strategy, and then I still might offer the one-on-ones, just to help clear stuff up and get you on the right path. I definitely have to figure out a system that's more easier on me, because kind of back myself into a corner here. I'm not taking away anybody's one-on-ones. If you signed up for one-on-ones, you are going to get one-on-ones. But if you guys haven't signed up yet, just know that might be the change that's coming in the future pretty soon. Let's go ahead and switch it over to the live screen. Get this over here. Boom. Alrighty. And bam. How you doing? What's going on? Fantastic. Oh, it's been a hot minute, but we're here now. So, past couple of days, we've been just trying to scalp a little bit. Has not been successful. It was successful in the beginning. We did do pretty well. Got the account up from, from the short from 1350. All right, we were at 8 grand. We got back to 22K. And then we took a couple nice scalp trades in between, and I got all the way up to $48,000. Unfortunately, that was short-lived, and we're back down to, I think, 23,000. So, unfortunately, I would love to still be at 48K, but considering the way the account's been going, I kind of expected this. So what tends to happen with me personally, the $100 account has had these crazy, massive jumps back and forth, but always ending up positive. So that's a big part of a small account. I've been seeing a lot of people where they have a nice run, or they might be following along with me, and I have a nice run, and then a couple losses in a row, their account's down 45, 50%. But you kind of have to just take perspective. I've gone from 26,000 all the way down to 4K, all the way up to 48K, and now we're back down to 22K. So as long as we're continuing to progress, there's no issue. And now with the breakout above 1350, things are looking pretty damn good. We might be back in that trending market where breakout trades are really the only viable thing. But I have a feeling that we do want to retest right before we blast off. I was kind of planning on 1390 to 420 to be kind of a top, and then probably see a retracement. So I am kind of waiting for that. So I did take the initial breakout long. Once we got up to that $1,400 mark, took profits. Currently at the moment, I am sitting in a little bit of a scalp short from, let's see, I know you guys can't see this. I'm sitting in a scalp short from 1420. And I'm just looking for most likely a retest of like 1355 at the most to take profits. If not, if we do have to take another breakout trade, so be it. I'm fine with that. But currently up about 28%, $1,200. By the time this is finished, we should be up somewhere around 3,000 to 4,000. Just a nice little short. So the risk for the account has been going in this kind of manner. So when we started the account, it was $100, 100% risk. Once we got to 500, dropped it down to 25% risk. Once we got to 1,000, dropped it down to 10% risk. And then once we got to 10,000, we dropped it down to 5% risk. So right now I'm still sitting in at 5% risk. Once the account gets to 100K, we're going to drop it down to 2% risk. And once it gets to 1 million, we're probably going to be somewhere in the, I'm probably going to use 2% for swings, like really good macro positions, and then probably 0.5 to 1% for just kind of scalp trades, just any trade that I can visually see. I know it's probably a good chance. That way, good risk. And that's the thing. You know, I say the risk for the account. I don't recommend you guys follow that, okay? Because it requires a couple things. It requires education, knowing what you're doing, as well as that experience for your mental fortitude. There's a lot of people that can't take 8 losses in a row and still play the 9th, okay? So if you have a consistent 10 restored ratio trades lining up back and forth, and that's kind of what your minimum is, you only have to win 1 out of 10 trades to break even, 2 out of 10 trades to get into profit. So a lot of people can't lose 8 times in a row and still have the mental fortitude to play those extra 2 times to proceed with their account. Obviously, that's not the end goal. You don't want a 10 to 20% win ratio. I would say if you're kind of sitting in that 40% mark, 50% mark, you're doing very well. If you're in the 60 to 80%, you're kind of top tier. If you're in that 90 to 100%, I don't know what you're smoking. But there is people out there that are like that. I know a couple. But I'm definitely not one of them. So that's why I've kind of built this trading strategy around the fact that I'm going to lose and allow myself to lose. And if you know that that's built into your system, you should have enough confidence to continue playing the way you play. Now, obviously, if it's definitely not working out, which is not the case, you got to change something. But in this certain instance, the basic strategy works pretty well. I would say it gives you at least a 50 to 60% win ratio if you follow it directly. So let's go ahead and say hi to everybody. I got a new chair. I got a Herman Miller Embody, and I feel nice and comfy and supported. It kind of like locks you in and just you feel trapped. But my posture is fantastic now, so I won't have any back problems from here on out. I figured it was time to make that investment. I sit here constantly at my desk for 12 hours a day, scalping sessions, whatever it might be. So to have a good chair, and especially with like a 12-year warranty, definitely just worth the upgrade. And the fact that it comes to your house fully assembled, you just roll it out of the box, boom, sit in it, that's the best. So let's go ahead and say hi. Bitbird, ahoy, how you doing? Aaron, no, why no? Hi, hello, how you doing, man? Peruvian Gold, yay, hello, how you doing, buddy? John E, Kite, long time no see, buddy. How you doing these days? Doing pretty fantastic. I mean, life's just getting an upgrade at this point. I am going to be moving out soon, so we might have another like 2-week kind of off schedule. Because when I do move from this house down to Richmond, I obviously need some time to get everything set up, have that all oriented. But that should be, I don't want to say this month or even close to next month. Maybe by the end of next month. I'm still waiting on some schedules from some other people, trying to get that information. But we're trucking along. But I'm doing pretty fantastic. I was sick for a little bit. I was very sick, actually. It was kind of scaring me. Thought I had COVID. But I still got my sense of taste and smell. I do have one like residual issue where like in my throat, it feels like it might be like tonsillitis. I usually get that just on occasion. But I can feel like a swollen lymph node. And whenever I swallow, it's itchy. And it causes me to cough too much in public, so then I look sketchy. And I'm like, I don't have corona, I swear. Kyle Douglas, how you doing, buddy? BK Hender, let's go, man. Hello. What's up, my dude? How you been? Doing pretty fantastic, man. It's never me, Aaron. We need to put a kettle. Hello, guys. Allie, how you doing? Daily D, Subkite, still too busy for me? I'm not crazy busy, all right? I know I make it sound more than it is. I could click on the schedule here, but I don't know how people feel about me putting their names out there. But whatchamacallit, it's kind of busy right now, to be honest. Like I said, I might still do the one-on-ones. I might not, depending on what happens. If I do continue to do the one-on-ones, it has to be in groups of like 10. 10 people can join. I get to them. I make sure they're all situated, and then the other 10 can come in. I can't have an open floodgate anymore. With the traction I'm getting on YouTube and the amount of people that are seeing the potential that I can give them, it's a lot to handle. So there's a couple different options. I can do classroom settings where there's multiple people, maybe 5 people in one session. I can do the videos, you know, the private videos where if you sign up, you get access to them. And the problem I have with that, I don't want to seem like, you know, a guru. You know, how the people have the online courses, you know, you just sign up, you take the courses, they might work, they might not. The reason why I went with the one-on-ones is because I want to differentiate myself. I want to be honest with people. I want to be able to get to know their psychology, get to know them personally, help them along in a way that nobody else can. If I make a one-size-fits-all, I'm just like everybody else. You know, some people are legitimate. Some people are literally just spouting a bunch of bullshit. And I just want to make sure that I can make that distinct variation visually before people sign up, so that there is that level of trust that they're getting a good product. So, let's see. Josh T, yo Kite, how you been feeling, bro? Feeling pretty good, man. How you doing? Sam, welcome back, Kite. Thank you, I appreciate it. Mr. Thakas, yo, what's going on, man? Saba, hopefully that's how you pronounce it. Hello, how you doing? Magnus, hello. Fam, hey man, how you doing, buddy? Amazing Asian, hey Kite, you looking pretty good? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's looking pretty fantastic. Now, I was kind of hoping for a hot second that we were going to try to go back down, potentially to 1050, maybe make a double bottom at 900. The lowest target was actually 750, and we got a short position from 1267, and I had my stop above this local high for, you know, a breakout trade just in case. But I was really hoping that was going to work out, because that would have net me between 60 to 120 ETH, and that would already put the account at like a couple hundred, you know, like 110 grand. But if we were to go to the actual official targets that we're trying to get to in the long term, that would have been my $1 million trade right there. Just time hadn't caught up yet. I would have loved that. But unfortunately, you take what the market gives you. We keep trucking on. All right. Music is sounding great on the intro, isn't it? Music is sounding great on the intro, isn't it? Oh, I thought it wasn't. It kind of glitched out for a little bit. It does that sometimes, unfortunately. But let's go ahead. I'm long from 1225. How do I know it's safe enough to just leave it open? So a lot of people ask me, hey, when can I move my stop loss? When is it safe to move my stop loss? Because I do preach all the time that moving your stop loss incorrectly just is not going to help you. So if you opened up a long at 1225, somewhere around here, okay, what you want to do is wait for the next valid support and resistance. So obviously you were taking your trade within this range for a possible breakout, which we did get. So you got good entry on that one. So you have a couple different supports and resistances. You have obviously the range itself, so you can move your stop loss probably to like 1262 comfortably. Or if you want your stop loss to be closer to the current price action, below this last local high of 1350. Just have your stop loss below there. I do think that could be possibly hit. Don't get me wrong. But definitely a stop loss down here. Pretty damn good. So moving your stop loss has to be based off of valid support and resistance. You have to have something ensuring that it's kind of, you know, protecting you like a shield. That's what you want. Are there any requirements to join the Telegram group apart from the price, obviously? No, not really. The Telegram group is for everybody. Obviously, I kind of give my positions. I tell you what's a good position. You guys can follow along with that directly. There's the general group. Now, I will say, okay, been seeing a lot of, well, not a lot. If you join the group, okay? You have to be willing to work with other traders and understand the positions that they are in comparative to yours. Not everybody is the same, all right? So if you are in a harsh position, do not take that out on other people. Not the place for it. If you proceed to be aggressive or hostile towards other people and, just kind of be an asshole, all right? Be a decent human being. Respect other people, be a good dude. If that does not continue and you proceed to be hostile, you're going to get kicked out. No refunds. All right. Just want to say that we've been pretty blessed. All right. We have not had a huge problem with anybody. But just for the future, just want to let you guys know, be mindful of other people. Not everybody's doing the same. Alrighty. Oh, yes. Yes, it is sounding good. It's nice and calm. It's relaxing. It's the perfect fit. It really is. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into it. I have not been doing a lot of technical analysis on Bitcoin as of late. I've been just kind of focusing on ETH. And my methodology for that, and hopefully you guys don't hate me for kind of transitioning to that, is with the $100 account. In the beginning, when we're trying to get off, the runway and into the air and stabilize, we need as many opportunities to do that as possible. So that's why I was trading Bitcoin, Litecoin, and ETH all together at the same time. And we were actually pretty successful with that because we were just playing the simple method, not the EW method. Now that the account has actually stabilized, we got a decent risk setup, 5%. It's still up there, but it's not crazy, for me at least. And we don't need as many opportunities to make decent money. And a lot of people go, well, if you're doing well and it's easy, the objective here is to stabilize your account. And having one asset to trade doesn't spread yourself too thin, especially me, just because my personal use case, I have sessions to get to, I have a daily life to get to, I have the streams to get to, I have to trade for myself, all this stuff stacking up. I have to think about my personal situation and what's best for me. So having one asset to trade instead of multiple and to focus on constantly definitely helps me. And I'm still making, a couple grand per trade. And on this trade right here, we made 13 grand. We were doing pretty well. So obviously, we just kind of got to get back in that flow and we'll be good. So that's kind of my reasoning for, kind of just transitioning to ETH. As well as that, I do believe ETH is going to be the best performer out of the top three. So you have Bitcoin, its technical target is $333,000. And that would only net you about 10x, okay, roughly from where we're at. ETH, on the other hand, its technical target is 20,000. Now, there's going to be a whole bunch of people debating me. I am talking about simple mathematics that have been proven to be true. All right. Now, the first target, which is a potential top for the bull market, would be 7K to 6K. I'm perfectly fine with that. So from where we're currently sitting, that's obviously 7x. But if we do get to anywhere between 20 to 15K, that's going to be 15 to 20x. Now, obviously, I'm talking about if we were back at $1,000. This is why I was doing these calculations. So 20x compared up to 10x, just from a simple holding standpoint. So if we can leverage trade, get our bags up, that's also going to amplify. So that's why I'm also trading ETH as well. I think it's going to be the best performer. So obviously, if I had to pick one out of three, ETH is where I'm going to be at. I do have hodl coins. Obviously, I hodl some Bitcoin, Litecoin, Monero, Ethereum. I have a little bit of basic attention token. EOS, picked some up a long time ago. But that's about it. I don't really like to trade a crap ton of coins. It just doesn't make sense in my head. Like I said, it's all about understanding yourself. What can you handle? And right now, I got a pretty busy life, so to constantly look at 1,000 things, just not a good time. All right, let's go ahead. Hop over to BTC first. I know a lot of people are probably interested in my ideas for that. So we have a little bit of a an a symmetrical triangle trying to work itself out here. And that's another reason why I think Ethereum in particular could possibly have a little bit of a pullback retest. we still have plenty of time to be in this. If this really does want to kind of go sideways, we have, another, couple days until this wants to break. But obviously, from a horizontal perspective, I'm just making sure fish is being good. Just from a horizontal perspective, a breakout trade above 39,857 would be viable. Also, just, pure principle, the last local high, breakout trade above 41,600 would be good. I don't think downside is going to be a possibility, but obviously a breakout below 34,165 with the expectation of a double bottom here, if that is wanting to be one of the options. So we're kind of just in the middle of this this fat range here, marked out by these two green lines. So obviously, if you want to be the absolute safest you can possibly be, wait for one of those to break and then set your stop loss underneath or above it. That's kind of what you want to do. If you want an early entry, you have to go based off of these local highs, because those are the only two, local high and local low. Those are the only two that are viable, that's close at hand. So that's what I'll be looking for on Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and check out the RSI real quick, see if there's anything awesome going on there. All right, so we had a hidden bullish divergence right here, which is kind of still playing out. And you can see that right here, we have a lower low, but a higher low on Bitcoin. And then anything close? Not really, nothing really close. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a bearish divergence off of that last tinier local high here. You can see we're getting a higher high, but we have not gotten a higher high on Bitcoin itself. So we'll see how that works out. Maybe a double bottom around here. We'll see. But I would definitely focus on the larger trend here. So right here, this was kind of the bearish divergence that led up to that big dump. Obviously, it's very similar on ETH as well. So you can see right here, we have a significantly lower low, or a lower high, my bad, and then a higher high on Bitcoin. So that's why I love the 250 length RSI. So some of the common questions I get about, or, kind of comments I get about the 250 length RSI, they go, Austin, why do you use the 250 length RSI? Isn't it, an exact copy of price action? And I go, yes, that's exactly what you want. All right. So my entire process, everything that I teach, is how do you take valuable information, or a lot of information that is valuable, and condense it down to the absolute most valuable information. So as an indicator, having a bunch of exaggerated lines and having everything look like it's, very, very important, not good. Once again, with 1,000 different supports and resistances, turning them down into 4 or 5, that's going to help you a lot more. So the 250 length RSI, actually, it's the same exact copy, except for where it matters. And that's what's important. So like right over here, it's pretty much an exact copy of price action. But right here, you can actually see the difference that matters. Lower high, higher high. Bam. Big pullback. Okay. Now, obviously, with the pullback on Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum, this was a wave 1, this was a wave 2, and we're working on a very, very much larger wave 3. The target was actually only supposed to be the 0.382. And you can see we kind of leveled out around the 0.382. We definitely did. We got kind of like an inverse head and shoulders off the 0.382. But we did dip lower. So I did try to kind of long the 0.382 on ETH when we dropped down from that first one. That didn't work out, but then we kind of like let it drop, get closer to the 0. And then we took a long from there, hit it up to the 1140. We shorted 1140 all the way down, picked up that long from 990. And then we rode it all the way up to 1245. So, I mean, we did very well. We got pretty much all the way up to 58,000, considering that I've already pulled out profit. So if anything ever happens, I've already pulled out 10K from the $100 account. I've secured 100x gains on my initial investment already. So don't be afraid to pull out some money when you do make good advancements on whatever portfolio you're working on, because you never know. You really never know. So I put out the 10K, just kind of to congratulate myself. I got the car. The next profit that we pull out is going to be for the giveaway. So I do plan on making a mil off of $100, and then what I'm going to be doing is a $100,000 giveaway over the course of 100 streams. So we'll do $1,000 giveaway every single stream for 100 streams, and we might do one person wins or 4 people win. I might just do one person wins, because what we're going to do is if you win once, congratulations, but you can't win again. You got to give that opportunity to somebody else. So that's my plan with the $100 account. Obviously, family members, their debt, everything like that, that's going to be paid off as well. But just figured I'd, give myself a pat on the back, buy that car. It's such a nice car. It really is. I love it so much. I've been driving that 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee for so long. I just got used to it, and I didn't notice, how janky it was. Obviously, first car, I love it. It treated me well. But the suspension system is like, you would think a Jeep would have a better suspension system than a sedan. But no. No. It is so smooth. I love it. It is kind of dangerous, though, because since it has a good transmission, I don't feel how fast I'm going. So when I was driving home yesterday from Richmond, I hit 100, and I looked down at the dashboard. I was like, oh no, I'm going to get a ticket and go to jail. Wow, making $1 million from $100. Well, if you think about it, okay, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's really doable. For me, it's nothing short of, having a plan and then following through with the plan. We've already went from 100 to $60,000. To go from $60,000 to $1 million is actually pretty damn easy, considering the mathematics. It's just a little bit of time. No, I don't do 100x. I just use the calculator. I make sure that I risk the same exact amount every single time. I make sure that my risk to reward ratio is good. And sometimes I might have, 40x leverage, but it's 40x leverage because I know what I'm doing. I know exactly what point is going to invalidate my trade, and that will allow me to crank up my leverage just a little bit, and I'm not going to lose anything more than I'm supposed to. That's how I kind of, work through it. What car did I get? I got the 2017 Mercedes E-Class. Now, I thought it had a lot of features that it didn't. This is my first time buying my own car, so I didn't really do the due diligence. I was just super excited, and kind of just walked in there, signed the documents, and drove it away 15 minutes later. I didn't go for a test drive. I didn't do anything. Kind of a mistake on my part. So, no heated seats, unfortunately. The two front seats have heated seats. No backup camera, which I can get that installed from the Mercedes dealership aftermarket. So that's what I'm going to do. And it doesn't have the self-parking, which I was really excited about. But my plan is, after the bull run, I'm probably going to sell that car to my cousin for a really good price, kind of like as his gift, rather, because he doesn't have a lot of debt. So I'm just going to kind of give him the car, but he's still going to pay for it. And I'm going to get the S-Class. And I've been watching videos of the S-Class for the past couple of days, and I'm so excited. But that's not going to be until like the end of this year, so I'm going to be very excited when that happens. Man, if I get the S-Class, it's got reclining back seats. I just got to get a chauffeur. But that's a little bit too much. Can't even change the interior lighting on the Jeep. Exactly. It has like this cool RGB lighting. It's so cool. Let's see. So you're riding a larger Wave 3, right? Yeah, so let me talk about this real quick. All right, so if we're considering this a 1 and this a 2, okay, that means that we're in the third wave right now. So the third wave's target, so once we break back above 4163, the next target before we see any sort of major pullback should be roughly 52,000, okay? That would be the Wave 3 target, in my eyes. Now, obviously, there's going to be smaller pullbacks in between there, All right, don't get me wrong, because within the larger wave 3, there's also going to be a 5-wave structure. So this could be wave 1, this could be wave 2, working on wave 3, maybe wave 4, and then wave 5, completing the full wave 3, and then we have another pullback. And then after that, after we complete wave 3 and then complete wave 4, we should go back down, retest roughly. It wants to come back down and retest the 0.618, but it doesn't have to. It really doesn't. Because also, while we're looking at these smaller time frames, we have to think about the much larger structure in play and how that can affect things. So obviously, it's not going to work out to a T because we're working on such a crazy time frame now that we're in that price discovery mode. But right here, it does want to come back down and retest the 0.618 if it really wants to go down that far. Next target after breaking 52,000 is going to be 72,298. And that's the larger structure in play for Bitcoin, most definitely. So moving on to Litecoin. Litecoin's kind of been lagging behind. It really has. But it seems like, let's see. It seems like this was wave 1. This is wave 2, and it's working on wave 3. Because within wave 1, you're going to have an ABC. All right, so I'm considering this wave 1. And this wave 2, that looks like the 0.382 right there, just from my eyeballs. Let's see if it lines up with the fibs. Pretty damn close, pretty spot on that 0.382. So yeah, that's definitely wave 2, and then we're working on wave 3. So wave 3 I would say wave 3 probably wants to end up officially somewhere around the all-time high, probably around 350. What? 350 is the all-time high, right? Yeah, 350. Boom. All right, so I'm probably thinking wave 3 is going to go past the 1.618 and kind of end up somewhere around, that top there. So let's just go ahead and say that. And then wave 4 obviously is going to have a pullback, kind of like what we saw now with the with ETH being at its all-time high. So that's probably going to be wave 4 is the rejection off the all-time high, giving us that catapult pullback to launch. And then wave 5 would most likely be somewhere around like 500, 600. Let's go ahead and see what that lines up. So 350. And yeah, $700. That would be the end of this wave 5 structure. And we could have a bigger pullback there. Just kind of my idea. Obviously, Elliott Wave, kind of janky. It is a lot of perception. Now, if you guys are interested in Elliott Wave, but you don't trust yourself, or you want something to kind of back check your own work, there is this website called Wave Basis. It was told to me by a member in our group named Stuart, and it's actually pretty damn good. It really is. Basically, what you do is you move your chart around. It will highlight a point, and then you click this little calculate button, and it will count the waves for you. And then over here, it will give you the targets. So it's telling me that this might be the top of wave 3, okay? And we might see it come all the way back down to around 1235. Now, that's kind of what I was expecting anyways, just from, the previous count I have. Now, you can see right here, it's targeting between the 0.382 and the 0.5. But if it wants to get to the 0.618, it can, all right, at 1109. That is a possibility. But usually it does land within that little region. And you can see wave 4. So it's considering this a wave 1, this a wave 2, this a wave 3, and this a wave 4. Look, it gave us a target of wave 5 at about, it was calling for the minimum for 1429, the maximum 1521. So we could still have one more kick to the upside, don't get me wrong. All right, but we've almost kind of topped out. And you can also see kind of an ABC structure here. So that's Elliott Wave. I don't want to get ahead of myself with that. I really don't. Because with me showing off Elliott Wave on the streams and stuff, and, some of you guys have seen me get pretty incredible entries on, like, I usually don't say catch a falling knife, but when we're scalping, I kind of know that it's going to have a pullback here, and I should target the 0.382. And I try to enter. Sometimes we get, like, the exact dollar. So I know a lot of you guys are getting pretty excited about Elliott Wave. But trust me when I say this. If you do not master the basic strategy, you are not going to have a good foundation. There's too many people trying to rush into Elliott Wave, but I did not use Elliott Wave. All right, I didn't use the complicated version of Elliott Wave when I started the $100 account. Every single thing that I did was based off of basic support and resistance, based off of trends. All right, so for everybody that's trying to rush, please stop. Okay, you're hurting yourself. All right, you have to walk before you run. All right. I don't want anybody to like get into the one-on-ones and try to immediately get to the Elliott Wave. It just doesn't make sense. I didn't do that. All right. And I still have problems with the Elliott Wave sometimes. All right. So I'm just trying to help you. All right. If you really want to get into Elliott Wave, by all means, but don't say I didn't give you a warning. All right. You're going to hurt yourself. You really are. And I don't want you to. That's all. All right. Let's see. So that's Litecoin, and obviously we've talked a little bit about Ethereum. So these are the major historical supports and resistances at the current moment. So obviously we're above this one right here, so we should remain bullish for the most part. I do think a retest wants to happen, but we could still have one more kick to the upside before that comes into play. But we've been sitting in this range from top to bottom for a good 14 days. Good 14 days. That's pretty much when we stopped. I think our last stream might have been... I think our last stream was on the 7th. It was, yeah, somewhere around here. So it's been quite a bit. So we're retesting this uptrend right now. So we had the first uptrend, all right, and we retested that, rejection. And now that was still kind of an uptrend there. So now we might want to come back up and retest right there before another kick to the downside. God. I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab a drink. Okay. Ooh. I can drive like James Bond if you want a pro. Oh, Clay. If you want to be my chauffeur, absolutely. We can even put a Grong symbol on the car. Will you look at LTC? Yeah, we just did. How much do you plan to drive your new car? Well, that was one of the main problems that was preventing me from getting a new car. I just didn't need it. I had a 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee that got between 9 and 11 miles per gallon. And that being said, I was only spending $20 on gas a month. So I didn't drive. I was door dashing my food, and I usually just tagged along with my friends whenever they went somewhere. Kind of like a leech, but not, specifically doing it out of evilness. Just kind of how it worked out. But since I am moving down, further south, and I'm going to be about an hour away from my mom and dad, and then my grandparents are 2 hours away, I need a reliable car to get back and forth from those places. So I said, all right, let's bite the bullet. Let's get a car. I didn't want to go balls to the wall. I got the money to buy a Maybach if I wanted to. But I'm 21. I don't deserve a Maybach yet. In the future, most definitely. But I think that would draw too much attention where I'm currently at right now. And I don't want that attention. So we just kind of got a luxury vehicle, but not too crazy where it's going to cause, anybody to really get suspicious. Because just from what my mom said, My mom said, she was like, hey, Austin, I'm proud of you. But buying a car like that, one, you're going to have to worry about police pulling you over because you look like a drug dealer. Little blonde, white-haired kid. Doesn't look like he deserves the car. And also, your neighbors. Because where I currently live is not the most, high-end neighborhood. They're going to kind of... She's worried about people stealing stuff, but the people in my neighborhood are very hardworking people. There's never been any problems, so I'm not worried about that. But I just found it funny. She was like, the cops are going to think you're a drug dealer. Your targets line up with my dream targets nicely. That's what I like to see. Yeah, we're looking at ETH. Let's see. How do you try to call the local top when a coin rips, like engine? So I would never try to be exact with those types of coins. The reason why is because with low cap coins, there's people trading it that know they can manipulate it. All right, so with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, you don't have manipulation. Trust me, you don't. There's manipulation of very small instances that can change a macro picture or maybe the short-term picture. But in terms of the grand scale, there's really no manipulation. With a lot of these really low cap coins, potential people that have a lot of money, they can buy and sell and force things to happen that shouldn't. So Elliott Wave or even the basic strategy might not work well, or it might work, but it might work less. But with these, higher cap coins, it works perfectly because it's built for it. That's all. Thoughts on DOT, like polka dot? I don't know. Let's see. DOT, is that the... Hopefully this is the right ticker. Let's go to the daily real quick. I like to look at the lower time frames for these coins. Huh. Let's see. Trying to figure out what this is trying to do. There's not really much I can say about this. I guess we would have to drop down in lower time frames here. Your only valid supports and resistances for any sort of trade are going to be here and here. And if you break that level, you're going to drop down to... I guess that's close enough to that one. You can probably come back down and retest this. I really think you can. With that kind of upwards movement, that looks like an ABC, like a wave 1. And you can actually come back down to the 0.382. So I would not be surprised. It does look like on the lower time frames you have a little bit of a bull flag, but we saw how that worked out on XRP. Obviously, that's a lot of fundamentals going into it, but I wouldn't get tricked by this. I would say if we get another break above 1853, hey, you could throw in a position there, but this needs more stability for a much longer term run if that is going to happen. Nothing goes straight up. So if it was to retest, I would think it would probably come back down to, if this is the top and this is where it began, the 0.382 is calling for 7.9. So that's why I would be expecting on DOT. Crypto Face. Hello, how you doing, buddy? Let's see. How to use the calculator for LTC or ETH when using Bybit. So that's actually a really good question. A lot of people have problems with that. So when you're using USDT, all right, what you want to do is it's the same exact thing, all right? How much is in your account? What's your risk setup? This is my current risk setup for the $100 portfolio. So we have 20% margin, 25% risk from the margin. And that gives us a total loss of 5%. And lately, my stop loss has been about 1.5%. Now, obviously, I don't recommend having a consistent stop loss. It's all based on what you're trading and, kind of how it works. But since I am only trading ETH and we're kind of in a stable range, 1.5% constant makes sense. So that setup right there in particular gives me 17x leverage with 70,000 contracts. Now, if you're on USDT, you're not typing in contracts. What you need to do is fiddle around with the margin. All right, so like you're going to be putting in like 40 Litecoin, 30 Litecoin, until the dollar equivalent that it tells you is equivalent to this price right here. Okay? Does that make sense? Is that a good explanation? That's how you would do it. And then you just throw in your trade. And then the way that I have this set up on ETH, I just have to put in my contract size and my leverage. And then if I'm scalping, I can just click market and then click 25%. And it puts my stop exactly where it needs to be in order to lose this amount every single time. No, so I bought the 2017 E-Class for 35. Okay, it was used. It had 18,000 miles on it, so I was like, that's pretty damn good. So I put 10K down payment, and then what I plan on doing, since I'm a trader and my money makes money, it does not make sense for me to buy a car outright. So I got the financing. And even though financing is predatory as hell, it's actually working for me. So then I can use the money that I'm not spending to buy the car outright to make even more money. And then I just pay it off in a couple months. Once, I'm kind of around that 500 grand, $1 million. That way there's no interest. How are you trading your personal portfolio versus the $100 account? What's your strategy here? So my personal portfolio is significantly larger. So I use 2% risk flat, and I only macro trade. I don't scalp trade on my main portfolio. And I do trade all 3 coins. Because I'm trading on such a macro level, I don't have to, spread myself too thin. I have plenty of time to assess each coin, line up exactly where I want to put my trades in, all that good stuff. Let them ride. The last trade that we had on ETH was a long from 1333 all the way up to the all-time high. That made me a lot of money. So I started the $100 account for a couple reasons. One, I'm a very private person, and I will never talk about how much is in my personal portfolio. So the $100 account gave me proof of trade, all right? Because obviously, if I'm just telling you stuff, it can be bullshit. But I want to have something visual to show you guys. Also, it gave me a chance to learn how to think like a smaller account. And the first $100 account taught me so much. It taught me the stress levels that you go through, the greed that you run into once you start seeing money really come in. I felt what it was like to start with a small amount of money. And that's why, if you guys are in the one-on-ones, listen to me. I know you might think it's like a millionaire going, okay, well, you got to do this and this and this. And you're like, you don't understand. I have bills to pay. I understand. Okay, I understand. But I have been there, and I have already wrecked an account starting from a small amount. We went from 100 to 10K in a week. Okay, and then we wrecked it. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so when I tell you certain things on how you shouldn't walk before you run, I'm being honest. I am not trying to hold you back. I'm not trying to keep you from buying the things you want and paying your bills and making your family comfortable. I want that, but you have to do it correctly. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And then third, so proof of trade, get in the mindset of a trader, and obviously give you guys hope. If you guys can see somebody, use the education to go and turn $100 into $1 million, or even where we're currently sitting is absolutely fantastic. And most people don't get that level, to go, we did 480x, 580x actually, from where we were at. And that only took a month. So I really did surprise myself, to be honest. Even though, this time around, I was a lot safer. I really was, comparative to the first $100 account. So it blows my mind that even in a month, we were able to do what we did. Now, obviously, the bull market has a lot to do with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking all the credit. But the way that we played the bull market was smart. Therefore, or the current bull market is not over yet. That's what led to the success. So I wanted to have something to, really show you guys, hey, you guys can do this. If you guys, you know, either take what I say on the streams, you know, really put it to use, or take the one-on-ones and put that to use. If you play it correctly, you can do the same thing. I'm a 21-year-old kid. I'm not special. I like that song said in the beginning. We don't create from what's in our genes. We create from what's in our genius. Everybody's a genius. Just figure out how to tap into whatever, you know, type of brain you have and use it to its fullest potential. So also with the one-on-ones, if you guys are in that, you guys will only succeed with the amount of work that you guys also put in. Don't expect me to sit there and babysit you through every single little thing. I am not coming for anybody in particular. I'm just trying to make sure that you guys utilize everything that I give you. So with the one-on-ones, all right, I'm there to help push you back onto the right path when you fall off and kind of give you your running start or your walking start, if we're going to use that analogy from before. But a couple books I would recommend, okay? First book that you need to read, and probably read a couple times, is Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, okay? It's a classic, but it's a classic for a very good reason. Everything that you do is psychology, all right? You could have the perfect technical analysis plan on how to enter, how to exit, all this good stuff, but you're not going to follow through if your psychology is not up to par. Right? Do you have the balls to hold a trade for 14 days when funding is eating away at it? You know, stuff like that. If you're in a long and it takes a small pullback, do you immediately exit? Are you sweating bullets watching your trade even though it's in a safe place? Stuff like that. You have to get that under control. Otherwise, nothing else falls into place. All right? So please, when you're outside of the one-on-ones, continue to progress. Don't just wait until the next lesson to start talking about trading again. All right? Read that book. Once you're done with that, then you can start focusing on more technical analysis things. I would suggest a visual guide to Elliott wave trading. Now, what I teach you in the first session is Elliott wave, but it's Elliott wave from a simple perspective without all the complicated mathematics. What you're waiting for is for a local high and a local low to be established, aka wave 1, and then you're waiting for a breakout of that, aka wave 3, and then you're waiting for a retest of wave 3, take your profits, and then you're waiting for the next thing. That's all it is. That's all it is. So just do that. All right. And then once you have the basic strategy down, you got your account good, you have some money to spare, and you're also using low risk, that's when you can start diving deep into Elliott wave. Because now, once you get your account off the ground and you're using 1% to 2% risk, you're not going to immediately blow everything. So then you can slowly start to, you know, see if your targets are matching up, practice with Elliott wave, and then you can start really putting it into your main account and see the magic. All right, that's the plan here. So you have to do work outside of the one-on-ones, and then when you come into them, we can start talking about things immediately and really get you going. That's what it's all about. So let's see. Oh, ETH is trying to break out right now. So if we do get past a candle body close past, I would say 1432, that would actually be a good thing. And we could see that continuation come in. What's your ETH target for this year and why? My first one is 6,000. 6,000 to 7,000. My second one is going to be 20,000. All right. So let's go to Bitcoin real quick. All right. So this is the macro Elliott wave structure for Bitcoin. All right. So the first wave, right here, this was wave 1, and this was wave 2, and this was wave 3, and then we worked on wave 4. So if we take the top of wave 1 to the bottom of wave 1, that will give us the 0.618. You can see the 0.618 ended up at 22,896. What do I always tell you guys? Undercut the market. If you have a target, undercut the market. All right. So that's kind of what happened. We got all the way up to like 20,000, I'm sure a lot of the more, experienced guys undercut the market. And depending on how you drew this, it could be closer or more farther away. But that being said, all right, it's pretty spot on. It's mathematics, okay? And when you're in price discovery, all right, that's really what's going on here. That's why Elliott Wave actually works very, very well in price discovery and not in a range, all right? The reason why is because the people who actually have the money have nothing to go off of except for mathematics. So that's what they use, okay? So for this, if this is considered wave 3 to wave 4, all right, our target is the 1.618. So we'll probably end up somewhere around 250K, maybe 300K, maybe spot on, maybe a little bit further. Who knows? It's not up to me. I know I'm going to undercut the market somewhere around here, probably around 250K, and let it go. All right. So just with that example of how well the wave 1, wave 2 ended up wave 3. All right. Let's go to ETH. All right. Ethereum. So if we're considering this wave 1 and that wave 2, obviously we would have to put that low there. That wave 2, and we're in the third wave, which is what the bull market is. It's just a single wave. All right. If we go ahead and take it from top to bottom, that gives us a target of $35,000. All right. So I'm obviously going to undercut the market. So that's now, for people telling me that their targets are messed up on fib retracements, I always have my chart on log scale in the first place. On the fib retracements, all right, it doesn't really matter on the smaller time frames, but on these larger time frames, 100% it does. Double click, go to the settings, scroll down, click fib levels based on log scale. And that should fix your problems if you are getting messed up targets. You're earning more in a month than they charge you on interest. Yeah, so that's the idea. All right, so I know financing definitely not what you want to do. Obviously, if anything, you want to get a bank loan because it's lower interest rate. But my priority was getting in there, getting out as fast as possible, and their financing was the way to do that. And like you said, I make more off of the money that I retain than they're going to be paying. I'm going to be paying an interest. So my plan is let the bull run make me a lot of money, and then I'll just pay off the car even because I got the 72 months, so I'm paying $500 a month. But I only plan on paying that monthly payment for probably like 6 months, and then we're just going to pay off the car in full. What's your say on LTO? Is that a altcoin? We can check it out. Let's see where that ended up. Was that the 0.382 or that was the 0.618? I would say you're at a target right now. Like I said, with these smaller cap coins, Elliott Wave doesn't really work that well. I'll be honest. All right. But you are at the 1.618. So a pullback from here to retest 10 cents is actually pretty likely. Just from like a technical analysis perspective, but I don't know jack about this coin. So take that with a grain of salt. Not financial advice. New here. I'm just curious, what is your background? What were you doing before trading? I was a cash register. That was my job. I was just a cash register. I took money in and I gave food. So, trading has pretty much, Bitcoin's been my life. So when I was 14, I started selling candy in high school. And I got a video on my channel from all the way back then of how to do it. Just like how I kind of teach you guys how to make money with markets. I was trying to teach kids my age how to make money with candy. Obviously I was like, well, I don't want to sell drugs. That's going to get me in jail. And I don't want other people to sell drugs because that's going to get them in jail. So if you can make just as much money selling candy, which obviously you're not going to make just as much, but you make a good amount and it's legal. I sold candy in high school, and then we pretty much turned that into Bitcoin between $500 and $1,000. And by the time I was 18, I had, a couple $100,000 in my name. I didn't sell it at 20K because I didn't have the technical analysis ability that I have now. So when we dipped all the way back down to 3K, I had about $100,000 left. And that was the time where, I was really lazy and complacent when I was starting my life. I got the job at Buffalo Wild Wings when I was in high school because I just wanted early release and I needed a job for that. So I got lazy and complacent at Buffalo Wild Wings because I liked it. I liked talking to people. I loved having a good time. It was an easygoing work environment. Obviously not if you're a server, but so then I came to a point where I said enough is enough. What am I going to do with my life? I was like, am I going to go to college and get a technology job? I go, well, another option is I have a lot of Bitcoin and I know another bull run is coming. If I can learn how to trade this correctly, which it did take me a long time to do, all right, that's what I chose. And that's where we are today. So it's taken me about 2.5 years to get to the point where I'm at. I would say about a year and a half in is where really things started to get good. I got lucky on the first mini bull run from 3K to 14K. I made some dumb moves. I got lucky. I made a lot of money. And that gave me kind of like a buffer period to learn. So that's how things have went. I really don't have a background because this is my background. This is all I've ever done. Besides working at Buffalo Wild Wings, this is what I've done. I've been researching Bitcoin ever since I was probably 12 to 13 years old, ever since the first bull market. And I've been fascinated by it ever since. Even as a kid, I could tell the potential of what this was. And I would scream at my parents to buy it. I would scream at my friends to buy it who were 13 and couldn't buy it anyway, so I don't know why I was screaming at them. I was telling everybody in my life to buy Bitcoin. And every single day now, I hear it all the time. I wish I would have listened to that little 14-year-old kid. My dad tells me it all the time. And I go, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Why? I wouldn't listen to me. I was a little crackhead. But yeah. That's how it's went. I don't think I would ever get sued for, not saying it's not financial advice. I just want to make sure you guys understand that I don't have like a 10-year trading background. I'm pretty brand new to this. And, considering I'm good at it, but I'm definitely not like God tier. There's some traders out there that blow my freaking mind. I'm just an average Joe. So obviously, even when I'm just getting into something, I try to put out my ideas. Now, like, what I really didn't like was how much people looked up to me in the beginning. Like when I put out Kite Crossing, people thought I was like a trading genius. I was just starting out, man. So what I've always done is I learn and I try to produce. All right. How do you understand something better? You understand something better by putting your ideas out there. One of the lessons that one of my teachers taught me, all right, I walk into the classroom and he goes, Austin, you're the teacher for today. I go, what? And he goes, you're the teacher for today. He sat down in my chair and he goes, you have to teach yesterday's lesson. And I go, well, okay. And through that process, I learned that if you take knowledge that you've gained and you try to pump it out in your own words, it helps your brain latch onto it and know it and understand it better. And that's kind of what I've always done. So with Market Cipher, I was learning Market Cipher and putting out lessons on it and trying my best to make sure they were legitimate. before I put them out. Obviously, I'm not going to just put out crap information and ruin my brand. But that's what I've always done. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. So that's my recommendation. Try to talk to other traders. Put your ideas out there. Don't be afraid to be wrong. All right. In order to be right once, you have to mix in 100 wrongs. All right. I got a song to play at the end of this, which I really, really like a lot. So if you guys do hang around until the end, which we'll be wrapping up here shortly. It's already an hour and 11 minutes that we've been streaming. And I want to go get some errands done before we start sessions for the day. I start at 1:30 and I finish at 7. So it's pretty much, I still work a 9 to 5, just a little bit later. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Do I still use Market Cipher? No. I like Market Cipher. It's a great product. The problem is it gave me way too much confidence when I was just starting to trade. And I am of the personal opinion, just my personal opinion, not trying to, you know, get anybody to not buy Market Cipher. It's just what I think. All right. Momentum oscillators suck. All right. They don't suck. All right. On larger time frames, but on smaller time frames, the reason why they suck is because they can change so often. And a lot of people base when they are going to enter off of indicators, not off of support and resistance. And if you base them off of indicators, you might have a shitty stop loss, which ends up getting hit for no reason. All these problems. All right. So that's why typically nowadays you're going to find me with the 250 length RSI on any chart. On my main account, because I do trade such large time frames, I would say 4 hour is probably the minimum I go down to. I do use MACD to look for that MACD cross and maybe some, bullish or bearish divergences. But that's about it. All right. I don't use volume because my methodology is if a support or resistance is breaking, I don't need to care about the volume. The volume will come. All right. It's such a weird metric where you have to be like, I have to wait until other people are buying in order for me to get my position. No, the early bird gets the worm. What are you talking about? Don't wait for the herd to buy in before you buy in, because then now you're less than the herd. If you know that that is the support and resistance that needs to break in order to see this larger target, why don't you jump in when nobody else is buying? All right. That's my ideology. I know a lot of people have a different one, but it just makes sense in my mind. All right. If this, then that. And if other people are slow at noticing that this has happened, that means that's going to happen, so be it. Let them be slow. That's all. I did use open interest for a little bit. Open interest was actually one of the better indicators because obviously that's a metric on large amounts of money, not just a very small amount. So when open interest goes up, typically that means the market is going to have downside. All right, because big money only wants to jump in when the price is low. All right, and then once you start seeing open interest go down, that means we're getting closer and closer to a top. It doesn't mean that we're officially at the top. It just means that less money is trying to jump in. Therefore, the market's going to slow down and eventually lose momentum and topple over. So open interest is really good. Trading Light has a good open interest indicator. It really does. Oh, Kevin, thank you very much for the 5, man. I appreciate that. What about Celsius CEL? Keller? Celsius Bitcoin? Let's do the USD equivalent. Let's do that. All right, once again, I really can't give you a whole lot of information on this, to be honest. I really can't. Now, one, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That does seem to be the 5th wave. Okay. All right. So if you look at this with me real quick, you can see where the trend shift changes. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Okay. So if that is a full 5 wave set, this could actually be the top here. And we do want to come back down and test the 0.382. Now, we could find support at the 0.618, don't get me wrong, but typically 0.382 is where we want to find support. So I would say this actually wants to come down to $1, in my opinion. Now, we would be looking for it to have one more retest to the upside. And typically what happens is either one, you're going to get a double top, or two, you're going to get a very slightly higher high, and then it will topple over. But that's what I'll be looking for on Celsius. Just my personal opinion, just from that wave count I can see. That's the only one I can really, give any validity to. You can also see a larger A, B, C right there. So that it can actually, obviously your first target's going to be $1. But if this does want to turn into a much larger 1, 2, 36 cents is also likely. I know it's probably not good to hear if you've bought in the past couple of days, but that's what I see. Why no GON fans anymore? The reason being is because GON fans are really good for knowing what the trend is and what the next possible trend alignment can be. But once again, nowadays I promote simplicity or more valuable information on your screen rather than a lot of information on your screen. And when you have 1,000 different lines going left, right, sideways, diagonally, how do you properly take that info and put it into use? You can't. There's too much. So if you condense the information to only what is viable at that current point in time, you're gonna have a much better time. That's all. Do you still think ETH is going to retest? Let's see. Let me go up here real quick. Possibly. I have my stop on my little retest short at 11:45. Now that was just a little scalp trade. I do have another account open with the long from the break of the macro, because that's just out of sheer principle, the simple strategy. So what I would recommend, you have to learn how to manage multiple accounts. So I have an account that is going with the simple method, and I have an account that's going with the Elliott Wave method. That way, I know the simple method works. It just doesn't make as much money because you can't get exact targets and exact entries. But I know it works, so I want to have a backup plan. So you have to be willing to, understand that you need to test things and make sure that you have them down 100%. I don't have Elliott Wave down 100%. It's still going to be a long time until I do. But I do have the basics down. That's how we've been able to do so well. Basics are money. Complications in the beginning are not money. Okay? That's what I've learned over the past couple of years. Tastes like that. What can I learn in your Telegram group? Examples of what a good trade looks like. Okay, so you do have the general chat. I would say, in the beginning, looking at the general chat is okay, but like I said, just like how on your chart you want less information but more valuable information, if the general chat is distracting you and you see people posting upside, downside, all that kind of stuff, just mute it, okay? Until you get to the point where you can really think for yourself. Once you can think for yourself, that's when you can start looking at other people's ideas, because you know what you think, right? And then you have the mental fortitude to look at other people's ideas and kind of see if they have a point. But if you don't know anything at all, and you're just failing left and right, and you don't know what your stance is, you're going to flip and flop between other people's ideas and follow them. With the Telegram group, you have the general chat. Like I said, I gave you an example of what to do with that, depending on who you are and what point in your trading career you are. But you also have my main channel, which I'll post simple setups for you guys. Now, a lot of these setups do require you to re-enter sometimes, but that's because it's an if this and that statement. If you are above this line, you should get up to that point. Now, with the price discovery, it's a little bit different, but sometimes we'll get our entry and then we'll come back down and then we'll come back above and then we get an entry and then we'll come back down and then we get our entry and then it finally goes up. Sometimes it does that 3 times in a row and then the 4th time is what gets us our trade. But typically our risk-reward ratios are anywhere between 8 to 10. So if you lose 3 times in a row but then you hit the 4th, you're still going to get a 7 risk-reward ratio, which is still fantastic. That's kind of my methodology when it comes to why re-entering is not a bad thing. Right? Because that line or that support resistance is what matters. Okay? As long as you are flopping and groping because of a very particular point, that's when it's viable. If you're flopping and groping in the middle of a range because you just don't know what the hell's going on, that's where you gotta have a pullback and reassess the situation. That's how I see it. Biggest trading lesson I've learned recently. There was one mistake with the $100 account this time around, which thank God it was only one. When we were on Ethereum, I had a long position from 1120. Hold on. Let me make sure I got this correct. Let's go to the 5-minute. All right, so right here, this is where, we were doing very well. We were to $20,000 and I got a little bit ballsy. All right. So, we took a long trade on the break of 1126. Okay. So we took a breakout trade from this ascending triangle and I was just holding the long and we had that pullback. And I was like, okay, that should be where we top out at. So when it came back for the double bottom, I did DCA and I didn't take my losses when we did go further than the double bottom, and I got stopped out down here. So that's where I went from 22,000 all the way back down to 4K. But then I reassessed the situation. I pulled back. I said, slow down. Don't just start entering willy-nilly. And we were able to scalp trade this back up, scalp trade that back down. By that time, we were back to I think 6,000. And then on this long trade up, we got back to 8,000. And then I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that was a historical support and resistance of the average daily all-time high. So we shorted that and I targeted 1030 and we got back up to 20,000. So if you do take a loss, just keep on trucking. That was the biggest lesson I've learned. All right, you're going to take losses. Sometimes they're just regular losses. Sometimes it's because you were just a dumb idiot. And I was that day. But pulled away, reassessed the situation, made the money back, made smart decisions, and now we're here. So obviously we should be at a lot more, but I did kind of screw up some scalping in this little range here. So keep on trucking. So I might have missed this, but isn't ETH breaking all-time high at the moment, meaning it could explode upwards? Abso-frickin-lutely, okay? As long as we are above 1350, it is pretty much just going to explode anytime soon. Now, we could have a retest, or we can just take off. Whichever one. Sounds so easy. That's what people always tell me. They say, you make it sound so easy. It's because I've been doing it for such a long time. And the reason why it's easy is because I have the psychology aspect handled. I can control myself. And everything that you do in technical analysis is very computer-like, very analytical. So if you can turn off your emotions, your monkey brain, it's very simple. But where people get mixed up, it's just their emotions. That's all it is. You know, some people, they have debt, you know, racking up. They have car payments. They have a family to feed. So they try to rush things. And when they lose, it just makes it even worse. Because now they want to make that money that they had back. And it just, it's a bad situation. All right. I have one-on-ones that I am not currently doing. I'm yet to be undecided. I don't know if I'm going to move to like a video like course and then also have the one-on-ones to help clear things up. I don't know if I'm going to move into a classroom type setting where I invite maybe 5 people into a Zoom call and they're all at similar levels, or just do one gigantic group meeting. I don't know. I have to figure out something fast because obviously I want to. There's going to be a lot of people coming into the space because of the bull market, and my job, the way I see it, is I've spent the last 2 years learning how to do it effectively. I want to make sure that people that are coming into the market don't get suckered, all right? Because there's a lot of people out there that sell courses or do stuff that aren't giving you good information, and I just want to make sure that people stay safe. That's all. And I want to be realistic with you guys. What do you think is the best stop loss for the ETH breakout trade of 1355? What's my method of calculating it? My eyeballs. All right, so if this is my local high of 1350, 1347, whatever you want to call it, you always want to enter a little bit above and have your stop a little bit below. That's what my stop would look like. Okay. And then, all right, a lot of people go, well, where do you take profits on the simple method? All right. We're in price discovery, man. You don't know where to take profits yet. All right. So what you want to do is if you open up a trade like this, all right, where there is no historical support and resistance to tell you where to take profits, it has to be created. All right, if you're playing simply. Obviously, if you have Elliott Wave, you kind of know where it wants to end up, so you can just take profits ahead of time. But, you know, it's going to do what it's going to do, and then it might come all the way up to here, get a rejection. All right, do you immediately take profits once it gets a rejection? No, you don't. You continue to hold the trade. It will eventually find a bottom, and if anything, you'll get a double top. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Hey. All right. If anything, you're going to get a double top, and then it's going to come back down further. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to take profits on the retest of the previous rejection, and then it's a win-win situation. Either one, you take your profits and it dumps on you, and then you can find a new position, or two, it has a breakout, and then you just take the breakout trade and keep on doing it. The same exact method. That's it. That's how we turned $100 into what we have now. It was that exact method. All right, on Bitcoin, we take the breakout trade, we let it get a rejection, it comes back up, we take our profits, sometimes it comes back a little bit further, and then we just wait. We just wait for the next position to show itself, and we take the breakout trades all the way up. Now, obviously, it's gotten a little bit rough with this little consolidation for the past 14 days, but hey, can't win them all. Now that this is starting to do this same exact thing again, we can make even more money. I would say 4 months. 4 months maximum is probably when I'll be at either $500 to $1 million. So I'm very excited. And, you know, my main account is quite a bit of money, but it's not as exciting because it's so safe. This has been such a fun thing to do. Now, obviously, my health has kind of suffered. I've been staying up late, pushing myself to my limits. But that being said, it's such a blast to see that this is possible, because until I did it, I didn't know if I could do it. And now that I've kind of done it, I mean, even to this point, it just it breaks all belief. You know, in the Telegram chat, I was given an example. All right, the 3-minute mile or the 4-minute mile. Right, nobody had broken it for ever. Nobody had broken it ever, and nobody thought it was possible until one dude did it. And then now it kind of like sets off like a chain reaction, and people were breaking the 4-minute mile all the time. So hopefully through me showing you that you can take $100 and you can do this, you can do it. Because if you truly believe that something is impossible, it's not going to happen. I know that's like a cliche thing, but I'm being honest. I really am. So how come you're in a short now instead of a long? It's a little scalp. Because typically what happens is when a support or resistance is broken, especially a major one, you want to retest. And that's what I'm looking for here. That's all. So I am still in this long here, okay, on a separate account. But I'm just in a little tiny scalp short just in case it wants to come back down and retest. That's all. So, top stars, that's a really big misconception, all right? This is the rule of Elliott wave, all right? Wave 3 is usually the longest, but never the shortest, okay? So it's usually the longest, but it can be, shorter than wave 5, but as long as it's not shorter than wave 1, you're fine, all right? So that's the rule. It's not always the biggest. It's usually the biggest. Right now, I'm just kind of looking for an ABC correction before we can get going again. So we have an A, we have a B. Now the C can get a double bottom or it can put in a lower low. Okay. Ex Nilio, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Do you think it's possible to make profit with just horizontal lines? Homie, that's what we've been doing. We've been killing it with horizontal lines. You kidding me? Horizontal lines are where it's at. All right. Think of diagonals as like a twig roof. All right. You can walk on them, but if you're too fat, you're going to break them. Think of horizontals as like a stable floor, all right? Wouldn't you rather be walking on a stable floor instead of a flimsy wooden roof? I mean, it makes sense to me. Let me turn off my blue light filter. There we go. What's the top 5 things what you have to learn before you start trading? Support and resistance, read book Trading in the Zone, risk management, what else? So support and resistance. Now, that's a large category. All right, when I'm talking about support and resistance, I'm not talking about every single little detail, okay? I'm talking about learning what supports and resistances are the most important. So, that's really what you want to look for here. Now, psychology, obviously, trading in the zone, good place to start, but also that just comes from experience as well. You have to read Trading in the Zone, but then also experience it and see what it's talking about, and then go back and read it again. Risk management, obviously, that's a must. Like I was telling you, all right, the reason why the first $100 account got messed up is because I strayed away from my set risk management plan. All right, having the calculator has helped me immensely. If I didn't create that calculator, well, I didn't create the calculator. I created the formula for the calculator. Crypto Half-Life is the one that created the new calculator. But if I didn't have that, I'd be dunzos. I really would. I mean, that's it. There's not really a top 5. It's psychology, how to manage risk, and how to have technical analysis to plan your trades. That's really it. Yeah. There's not a top 5. There's a top 3. Crypto Addicted Snarf, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Hey Kite, great to have you back. On CEL, it looked like you had Wave 3 marked as the smallest. Let's go back to CEL then. You might be right then. I still count it that way. So that's the basics of Elliott Wave. So the book that I would recommend after the visual guide is a book called, so this is the visual guide, all right, is a book called Harmonic Elliott Wave, The Case for Modification of R.N. Elliott's Impulse Wave Structure. So what that book talks about is there's a lot of inconsistencies with the plain old Jane method of Elliott Wave, all right? This book has changed everything, okay? It has given me the ability to calculate targets in a way that does not make sense to the regular person, all right? So my methodology is the people in charge, the people who actually make money, they create these tools and they create them in such a way that, yes, they are useful, but they are not exact. So the market works in a general way that they need it to because everybody else is, you know, kind of, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But those people have gone a step above to get real calculations. So this book tells you how to use mathematics, not just drag your Fibonacci retracements and to get your targets, but take one price point and another price point, do a mathematical equation to get the next target. Okay, rather than rely on the tool and trading view. This book is incredibly boring. It's a lot of info. It's not as, you know, pretty and, you know, simplified as the visual guide, but it is magical. It is magical. Okay. It covers so much information, so many detailed charts. And that's the thing. Boring information is typically like a hidden gem, right? If it's boring, that means it's useful. If it's easy to learn, that probably means that it's useful, but everybody else is doing it as well, and you might have trouble, right? Now, I kind of sound like a hypocrite because I try to make things simple and easy, but you know, obviously, you're going to take the information that I give you and expand. So my ultimate goal is to get you set up to have a profitable account, and from there, you can start expanding your knowledge base to make it even more profitable. I would say that's a correct assumption, top stars. 10% strategy, 40% risk management, 50% psychology. I kind of bundle risk management and strategy into one because they're kind of like the same thing. So I just talk about TA, which I consider TA to also be risk management. So I would say 20%, 80%, 80% psychology, 20% technical analysis ability. This bull run is not even close to over yet. So, benefit, yes. Obviously, my goal is not to have you directly follow the $100 account. Obviously, if you want to, that's your priority or your prerogative. But that being said, I would like to teach you through my examples of what you want to look for. And then from there, you can make your own assumptions. Because obviously, I don't want you to follow me to a T and believe that I'm like some oracle and I'm going to make you $1 million. I want to be a good example. And then for you to have your own ideas about the market. That's obviously always the goal. What's the benefit of Hawkinishi candles? 1, they look clean. 2, helps you identify trends. Okay. And Hawkinishi candles are actually an upgrade Okay, so the same trading company that made regular candles made Hakonishi candles 300 years later, because they realized that markets work well when you look at the trend rather than individual price closes. All right, so they started trading on Hakonishi. So pretty much, if you're using regular candles, you're using version 1.0. If you're using Hakonishi candles, you're using version 2.0. All right. And also you have all the other crazy ones like Renko, which I've seen people do pretty well on Renko. Don't get me wrong. Just not my my personal preference. That's a little bit too simple for me. Renko, I mean, if you want trends, Renko will give you trends. All right, but it kind of makes it look a little bit weird. Look at the 15-minute for Renko. If you want trends, you got trends, buddy. All right, that's Renko. So, what's the name of the both books? All right, we have. Forget this one. Okay, that one's not good. All right, it's basically the visual guide, but made more complicated, without any additional information that you can't get from the visual guide. So the two books: Visual Guide to Elliott Wave Trading by Wayne Gorman, okay, and then Harmonic Elliott Wave: The Case for Modification of R and Elliott Wave's Impulse Wave Structure, by Ian Copesley. And then obviously Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. I am fearful of pullbacks turning into reversals. Do you accept that this has, yeah, you listen, your job is to understand what you can control and what the market controls, and that will determine your psychology. So if you know that this point needs to break in order for it to get up to a certain price point, focus on that, right? Don't fret about every single major pullback or, whatever it might be. It doesn't help you whatsoever. All right? Focus on what you can control. All right? That's all you can. Thanks for the stream. Millionaire kid teaching rats from 9 to 5 how to escape suffering. Listen, I have been very blessed to be in the position I am in. Obviously, I worked hard for it, but I got lucky. All right. I got lucky with the first bull run, just kind of shoving my money into a concept that I liked but didn't really know a whole lot about. But in the later years, I worked very hard. I've suffered a lot through health and just my mental to get to the point I'm at. And if I can, in any way, shape, or form, help someone go through less suffering to get to the same point I'm at right now, I'm going to do it. The last thing I want is to get a big head. I don't want to lose touch with reality, because, that's what my entire thing's been about. I live in a trailer, man. I live in a $300 a month trailer. All right. Now, obviously, I got a kick-ass setup, got a cool car now, but I don't live the lifestyle I can afford. And that's a big problem in our society nowadays. One, either you can afford to live that lifestyle, but you're pushing your financials to its max and you're not going into debt. Or two, you go into debt to keep up with the Joneses. And now you're just kind of chasing your life. And then eventually that chase stops when you die and you never have time to relax. So I always want to live way below my means. All right. If I somehow am making $1 billion a year, yeah, I'll have a nice house. I'll have, a nice car. I'll live a good life. But, it's not a necessity. All right. It's really not. Do what's best for you. Don't care about, and it's really hard for me because as a kid, I have friends, who are always buying AirPods and Yeezys and looking at the next best car, all this stuff. And, they know, my personal friends know how much I have and all that kind of stuff. And they always go, well, why don't you buy this? Why don't you buy that? Blah, 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 blah. I go, why? Why? It's not going to make me happier. It just doesn't. So why do it? Do you still use Market Cipher? No. Okay. You need to learn how to trade. All right. A really big problem with the market right now, especially crypto. All right. Forex it has its problems as well. People come into this and they want an easy answer. They want either, a for sure method that's going to work that requires little to no effort. All right. Which there is if you do it correctly. Or they want a tool. They want an indicator that's going to tell them when to enter, when to exit. They want all the work to be done for them. All right. That's a problem. If you don't know why you're making decisions and you're just going based off of an indicator, you're not doing the footwork. You're not putting your nose to the grindstone. You're not understanding the market, the way it flows, why it flows. You're detrimenting yourself in the long run. I appreciate what Market Cipher gave me. It gave me confidence, undeserved confidence, but it got me into the market and it got me thinking about where I'm going wrong. And where I went wrong was buying Market Cipher too early. Okay. If I bought Market Cipher now, I'm sure I would do very, very well with it because I have the know-how of support and resistance. I know how to set good targets. I know how to set good stop losses. And to have that extra confirmation would not hurt. But in the beginning, it did not help whatsoever. Okay. Just my personal opinion. Like I said, if it wasn't for CryptoFace and Market Cipher, I would not be here today. A lot of you guys in the chat right now are from the Market Cipher Discord. But that is the truth. So if you're at that level where indicators do not throw you off your groove, yes, Market Cipher is good for extra confirmation, but it is not what you want if you're just starting out in the market. 100%. Dude, this Herman Miller is so... Like, I can loosen it up so, like, when I lean back, it doesn't have any resistance and I can just literally chill. It's got these little arms I can slap in. It's so sick. Did I practice with paper trading? No. Obviously, I would recommend it. But the problem with me is so emotions are good, okay? In a sense. Because you want to feel the guilt of making a mistake. If you do something screwed up, either to yourself or to somebody else, you want to feel bad. Because that's a signal telling you that you need to fix the problem. All right? And with paper trading, I just don't have like that role-playing mindset where I can role-play that it's real money and I can feel the same emotions and all that kind of stuff. For some people, they can. Right? It's all about you. All right? Your personal needs and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, if anything, I would say start with a small amount of money that you can afford to lose, but it's still real money. If you're the type of person that can't role-play, you should never do it because you want to start making money, like real money. You should use the real money with the expectation of this is not going to turn into a large amount anytime soon. All right. That's what you want to do. And the chair has such smooth turn on it too. I could literally just like sit here and it will go round and around and around. The ball bearing is so good. I'm sorry, I'm just excited about having actual back support now. And you can extend the seat outwards to give your thighs more support too. Because I'm a big dude. I'm chunky. That's my next thing. I've got the trading handled. I got my car. I got everything kind of rolling smoothly. Next thing is, I've been saying this for 2 years now, guys. Don't freaking hate me. I know somebody last time I mentioned, they were like, you've been saying this for so long. Just, you lazy ass, get up and do it. I really need to focus on my health. I've been getting decent sleep. Don't get me wrong. Like when I was sick, it was a little bit rough because I did have to, take a lot of vitamin D, which kept me up. But I've been getting decent sleep. The next thing I need to start going on walks, but it's too damn cold outside, man. And if I said that to David Goggins would punch me in my face and go, "You pussy." David Goggins is everything I want to be and more. That man is insane. But let's go back to ETH real quick. Just want to watch this. But we're gonna be logging off here in 9 minutes. Just cut it off at the 2-hour mark. So if anybody's got questions, please don't go crazy with them. Make them short and sweet. Otherwise, we're gonna start saying goodbye pretty soon. No problem, man. I appreciate you asking the question. Get a Noble chair? I mean, I already spent... I got this on sale. So they had I think like a 15% off sale at Herman Miller. So I got this for $1,300 instead of $1,600. And I know like a lot of people go, well, $1,300 for a chair doesn't make sense, Austin. That's a little bit rough. But you got to think about what you're getting. All right, it's fully assembled in the box when you get it. So, I mean, you're kind of paying for assembly cost. It's a great chair overall, and you get a 12-year warranty just in case anything happens. 12-year warranty is nothing to scoff at. So, I mean, you're kind of just, it's like insurance almost. It's a great chair. I've been putting it off for so long because I did have that mindset. I was like, $1,500 for a chair. That's kind of crackhead level. But I was talking to my friend Surfer, and he was just like, you got to do it, man. He was like, your lifestyle you live, you don't want to end up like me. I got back problems. He was like, invest in a good chair. So I started looking at him. Just kind of went with this one. Question, Kite, why are you so awesome? I don't know. I would say a mixture between my dad and my grandpa. So my mom gave me my morals. My mom taught me to treat people right, and I deserve what I gave. My dad and my grandpa are the people who shaped my mind when it comes to like being free to learn everything. So I had severe ADHD as a kid. Well, maybe not ADHD because I wasn't very hyperactive, but I had severe ADD. And my mom doesn't believe in medication, which I'm very happy that she didn't. I don't believe in it either now. So as a child with severe ADD that was uncapped, okay? ADD sucks for the STEM system, regular schooling. But what it does is it uncaps you, okay? I was interested in everything. Like when I got interested in something, I would hyper focus on it like nothing else mattered. And I would jump from subject to subject to subject, whatever I found interesting. Usually spiritual stuff, but also, sometimes mathematical or like technological. And I would learn everything there is to know about it. So as a kid, I actually beat myself up because from my perspective, not understanding the hindsight, I thought that I was inconsistent. I thought that I could never find something that I was just one thing I was good at and stick to it and become a master of it. But then now I realized I'm a master of everything that I put my mind to. And all these things stack up. It's accumulated compounding knowledge. One thing makes the other thing easier to learn, and it just keeps stacking up. And it just was a magical experience. So my dad and my grandpa, they helped promote that. My mom would go, you have to focus on your schoolwork. You have to do this. You have to do that. My dad and grandpa would go, do what you do. Learn what you want to learn. As long as you're giving it 100%, you do you. And, video games helped me understand trading in another level because it's all game theory. All right. Imagine that you're just playing an FPS shooter, and depending on your movements and your aim, you're gonna get the kill. And there's other people playing the same game, and they can be better than you. So think about the market like that. There's other people playing the same game, and you just have to be better than them. Simple. It's not malicious. Like when you play Call of Duty and you kill somebody, it's not malicious. You're just playing the game. And yeah, it's a little bit different with financial markets. You're taking money out of people's pockets. But if they're willing to play the game, why are you sad? Right? If they're willing to play the game and they're losing, I hope they get better. I don't want them to lose, just from from a money standpoint. But if I'm better at the game, that's just the way it is. The Telegram group price is $50 a month. I think that's respectable. So, obviously, to each their own. I say it all the time. I give the same exact information on the live streams. It's just sometimes I don't do the live streams consistently. But yeah. I'm healthy in terms of I'm not sick anymore, but I'm still not healthy in terms of like my cardiovascular system. But thank you for checking up on me. All right, but with that being said, I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna go run around, drive my new car, have fun, blast music. Anybody that's watching that has a session today, I think my first one starts at 1:30. I should be there. I look forward to talking to everybody. I'm gonna be honest. If anybody's watching that had a session yesterday, there was a mistake that was made. All right, which was not my fault. And I'm gonna be open and honest with this because I feel really bad for the two people that had their session. And then one guy had to reschedule, and the other guy, I had to go to my mom's real quick. But my roommate, I had gotten back from my sister's, and obviously, my roommate was watching my dog, so I go in there and I pay him a little bit of cash as a thank you for washing fish while I was at my sister's, and he goes, "Hey, we got a new vape mod. You want to try it?" So obviously, I just hit the vape mod. It's not like a cart or anything. It was like a legitimate like box mod. And I hit it and I don't taste anything, but a little bit of smoke comes out and he starts smiling and laughing. And I immediately knew what he had just done. Turns out it was a dab cart. And I don't smoke marijuana anymore. I have not smoked marijuana in probably close to a year. So I have no tolerance. And I don't smoke marijuana because my heart gets all crazy. So that ended up ruining my day. And I turned to him. I said, "Not cool. I got sessions all day. You probably just screwed that up." And I walked out. I have not talked to him yet. Now that I have, my brain back to normal, I will have a conversation with him today because that is not something you do. All right. He had no consideration for my day, my plans. It was not something that he should have done. So if anybody had a session yesterday and I was a little bit off my game, that's why. And I'm very sorry that happened. Besides that, I got really good sleep that night. Yeah, like I'm not opposed to marijuana. I don't think it's like, a lot of people go, "Well, if you smoke marijuana, you're just lazy." No, there's plenty of people that can smoke marijuana and they do fantastic in their life. Okay? For me, it's not so much the productivity aspect of marijuana that gets me to not do it. It's since I am, not healthy in my cardiovascular system. For some reason, marijuana causes my heart to act up, and it's a very uncomfortable feeling. So that's why I don't do it. You know, maybe in the future when I'm back to, you know, a good weight and my heart's doing well, maybe I'll pick it up again, because it is a nice relaxing thing when you are healthy. But for me, no, it's not. And that was very rude of him to do that. Two people had a high session with me. And I actually, to be honest, besides me just kind of spacing out sometimes, I'm actually positive that those were pretty good sessions, because since I was a little bit more relaxed, I kind of got into these long flowing tangents where I really explained stuff rather than just the analytical, you know. Obviously I lose track of like the psychological aspect sometimes. And that day I was just kind of talking about everything and anything. Yes, so right now I had a ton of people sign up for the one-on-ones. So in order to pay them more attention and make sure that I don't spread myself too thin, I have to cancel them right now. Like I said, I am still undecided on whether or not I will open those up again, or switch to a video course type thing or classroom setting, whatever we choose. All right. Tangents, Kite, surprise. Okay, all right, it's the 2-hour mark. I'm gonna get going. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I know it's been a little bit since we had a live stream, but I do appreciate you. As always, I should be back on either tomorrow or the next day, depending on what price action looks like. You know, I really wish you guys the best. Hopefully you learned something in today's live stream, as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay. If you guys want to listen to the song I got in the outro, you know, it's kind of like a rap song. It's not like the best when it comes to like just emotions, but hey, it pertains to my life in such a way that I find it significant. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and get going. Goodbye. I love you.
It's quite a challenge. Woozy, I find a balance. Drinking with my lawyer, had sushi with my accountant. Losing touch and puffing a Lucy, that's where I found it. One hit of the cig and I usually feel nostalgic. When I'm on a bender, it's usually when I miss home. Mentally repairing and staring up out the window. Looking for revenge, just to counting Monte Cristo. I'll be counting money by the fistful, youngin'. You don't know nothing about this though, youngin'. Zelda got the motherfucking 6-4 humming. Sip till you slip, get a grip, y'all bugging. I went to the desert, took a trip, no luggage. Saw stars dancing, party in the Mars mansion. As big as Kardashian, ass is gargantuan. All these kids napping, I'm asking for large ransom. Got the energy documentary, Charles Manson. Big bowl of cereal, fucking up some Cheerios. This some real shit, I think y'all don't really hear me though. Dab you with the left, I'm antibacterial. I'm Big Star Mario, here we go. I don't know a thing, but I'm still a genius. 2021, I wanna fill arenas. Got a shorty who model for Wilhelmina. She ain't Filipina, but she Filipinas. I just want my recognition, run it back if that a second listen. Always had it, I just added repetition. Label tracking data like a statistician. Never had the vision that I do, I had to do that independent.
That was when I realized I just gotta keep doing shit. I was looking around for a long time, looking at other people like they were doing shit right and I was doing shit wrong. And then I realized nobody actually knows what the fuck they're doing, but the people that succeed are the people that just keep doing it.
Nobody got the solution, don't let them give you advice. They try to copy the sauce, but they ain't give it the spice. See, I'm mixing the wrongs, they only mixing the rights. Had everybody I lost, and that's what give it the life. That's the recipe, that's the best of me. That's a lesson, not a loss, it's God testing me. I know it's a rental car, it's not impressing me. It's not raw, it's not real, it's all wrestling. Give me the belt now, I had a meltdown. They ain't do me no solids, but they wanna help now. And I don't need you, it's just me and Kavika, yeah. I let Corbett do the beats and all my reefer sativa. I know G gon' pull up with that Casamiga tequila. I know we gon' make a record, he gon' be on the feature. I can't release it, it's a big summer. Can't go fucking up the bag, it's a big number. Yeah, so pay up, time to pay up. Still asleep, so I gotta stay up. Yeah, them bitches hacking at you on the way up. But this a dunk, ain't no fucking layup. Ooh, it's quite a challenge. Woozy, I find a balance. Drinking with my lawyer, had sushi with my accountant. Losing touch and puffing the Lucy, that's where I found it. One hit of the cig and I usually feel nostalgic.
Why do you let us hurt one another just for the dollar? Did you lose your heart in the darkness deep in your pocket? No, I don't care if the price I pay. I don't wanna spend my life that way. Tell me, is the pain that you're causing worth what you profit?
Yeah, they say that money don't buy happiness, just beautiful things. But I wouldn't mind the extra time and peace of mind that it brings. I wouldn't mind if I could afford AC in the spring, or for the heat in the winter, not being bitter, but they live like kings. And here we are in one bedroom we can barely afford, hanging sheets up on the walls just to mimic the doors. Can barely afford to pay for a Ford while you pay for your Porsche. See, where I'm from, nobody makes it to Forbes, and I'm so tired of this dead-end job. While I was working last night, my fucking car got robbed. There's glass everywhere, I'm searching for the things I lost, all the things I bought. You steal from me just to cut your cost. My mom's worked the whole life just to give me a life to live, so I spill my fucking soul and give everything I can give. I think we can agree that Sally Mae is a bitch, and there's gotta be more to life than this. Why do you let us
hurt one another just for the dollar? Did you lose your heart in the darkness deep in your pocket? No, I don't care if the price I pay. I don't wanna spend my life that way. Tell me, is the pain that you're causing worth what you profit?
Yeah, another day, another bill. Lately hating how I feel. Need a tax refund just to buy a fucking meal. Your follows on your socials essential for signing deals. Man, it's crazy how a fake affects a room full of real. My boss told me turn tables. I told him tables will turn when I'm laughing at what I make in a day is more than you earn. The way to start to laugh, like to mention that is absurd, but they never focus their vision. Their vision focus is blurred, and they think I'm out of my mind or ahead of my time, or I'm the one that grinds and puts himself on the line. To learn how to win, you have to lose 100 times. Honestly, I think that losing is better than not trying. They say, make money, don't let the money make you. The question is, what if it's the only thing to save you? Would you sell your soul for a price if they paid you, or would you keep it real and stay you? Why do you let us
hurt one another just for the dollar? Did you lose your heart in the darkness deep in your pocket? No, I don't care if the price I pay. I don't wanna spend my life that way. Tell me, is the pain that you're causing worth what you profit?
Yeah, I know that money don't buy happiness, but buys you more material shit. Been reworking how I think and what it means to be rich. I used to think it meant to flex a Rolex on my wrist. Feels bad to take more than you give. Lately hate how we live. I never wanna become the things that I hate. With a man in the mirror will laugh and spit in my face and tell me that the money is maybe another fake. I've been drowning in my mind and my money's been at it. Wait, oh Lord, please save me. I should've known that something man-made couldn't make me. I say I'm making music, or is music what creates me? I never have an answer, same question every day. See, when we pass on, all our things are passed on to the next. Everything we didn't do is everything we regret. Every day we fucking work for this worthless check. If you're not happy, you're forever in debt. You're forever in debt.